Hi, everyone. Welcome to West Portal Lutheran Recent Alumni Perspectives. I'm Ron Wong, and I'm your moderator for tonight's panel discussion. I'm also a WPL alumnus, so this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Tonight, we're talking about the high school application process with two recent WPL graduates, Chloe and Karen. Chloe goes to Ruth Asawa School of the Arts, also known as SOTA, and Karen goes to Archbishop Raritan High School. The two schools are different in that SOTA is a public school and Raritan is a private parochial school. But they're very similar in that they both have a competitive applications and admission process. I'm going to ask Chloe and Karen a bunch of questions about their experiences with the high school application process. And then, time permitting, I'm going to try my best to answer any questions that our viewers have that they can certainly type into the comment form. But before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather together and learn from the experiences of recent WPL graduates. We pray that you would bless our time together and that we would be able to gain valuable insights into the high school application process. We pray for Chloe and Karen, who will be sharing their perspectives with us tonight. We ask that you would give them wisdom as they speak and that their words would be a blessing to us all. We pray for the students and their families who are attending this panel discussion. We ask that you would give our 8th grade families peace and confidence as they navigate through the high school application process. Amen. Okay, with that said, let's jump right into it. I would first like our panelists to introduce themselves again, share one of their fondest memories at West Portal Lutheran, and tell us which schools they applied to and why they applied to those specific schools. Let's start with Chloe.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I go to SOTA. I'm a freshman. Schools I've applied to for high school were mostly public schools, which were SOTA, Lincoln, Lowell, Bow, and other public schools I can't really remember right now. One of the fondest memories I had at West Portal was probably going on that DC trip in the beginning of the year with all my friends, and it was just really, really fun.
Nice. I've heard a lot about the DC trip. Karen?
Hi everyone, I'm Karen. I applied to Raritan, Sacred Heart, Lowell, and Leck because there were schools that I could picture myself actually going to. And my fondest memory is probably when we got our eighth grade hoodies, because it was really special to me. It was like a moment because most of us we have been together since kindergarten. So just seeing how much we've grown and we're about to graduate, and that was like a really special memory for me.
That's really neat. And I think it's really neat how you and Chloe attended WPL together since you guys were kindergartners. It's really meaningful. My next question is, what research did you do on the various high schools before deciding to apply to them? And what did that research consist of? Chloe?
Research I did for the various high schools was how their education was and how many people graduated from there to go to specific colleges. Because for me, I really want to get into good medical schools to pursue my future dreams. Um, and also research I did on the specific school I'm at right now, SOTA, was what arts suit me best, and that was theater. And the education there at SOTA is also pretty good. So I'd say that was mostly it on what I researched.
That's neat. I like how you're thinking ahead. I don't know if I thought ahead when I was in the 8th grade, thinking about med school and so forth. Amazing. How about you, Karen?
So I spent time looking about the websites of the schools, and then I really, like Chloe said, looked ahead to see how the school could help me develop my career, because I'm really interested in architecture. So and I saw that Raritan had opportunities for me to pursue there. So.
Okay. I also heard that Reardon has an engineering program. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay. Very neat. What did you feel were the most important things to consider when applying to high school? I'm going to ask Karen to answer this first. What did you feel were the most important things to consider when applying to high school? Or in hindsight, what do you feel should have been the most important things?
So like I mentioned earlier, it's more like how this school will like help me in with my future. Like, will I enjoy going to school, or will I just like go to school for going to school? And like, will transportation be difficult? Like, after I go home after like a club or sport, something like that, will I have enough time to do my homework and prepare for the next day?
Okay. Do you feel that, I guess, how important what is that now that you're at Reardon and your commute time? Has that really made a difference versus, say, some of your classmates who live further away?
Yes, because I'm in several, like, I'm in a sport and a club, so going home, it only takes me around like 15 minutes, so that really helps me to be able to finish my homework on time for the next day, instead of like a 30-minute transportation where that would take away like 30 minutes of my homework time.
Okay, really good points. How about you, Chloe?
For me, what I thought was most important to consider to applying to high school was what fit me best, because I didn't really know which schools were fitted for me because of my personality is like a little bit more outgoing because I know a lot of quiet people. And at Soda, I felt I really belonged there because every single person I talked to was just so very like outgoing and everything, and I felt really comfortable talking to them. Um, and I also thought like what also would fit for my future too, because I think that going to an art school shows that you're not just smart and athletic and all that type of stuff. You also have more personality doing these type of things like singing, dancing, drawing, whatever. It doesn't just matter about like academics is what I felt like.
Yeah, it's a complete student they're looking at. Okay. Karen, how did you make your application stand out from all the rest of the students out there? And do you have anybody that you look to for guidance and that you're extremely grateful for their guidance during that whole process?
I really spoke from my heart and thought about like trying to tell a story about like my life as a person, and I applied the certificates and awards I earned throughout the years to support my points in those essays. And I'm really grateful for Principal Lee, who gave me a lot of support and told us about the platform Ravenna, where we could sign up for open houses and like find out more about the school.
Okay. Can you articulate? Can you elaborate a little more on Ravenna? I'm not familiar with it. It's an online site, or?
Yes, it's an online site, I believe, where we can see different school events from that specific school and like for like shadowing and like open houses, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Neat. How about you, Chloe? How did you make your application stand out from the others? And do you have anyone that you're grateful to for their guidance throughout that entire process?
My mom actually helped me mostly with my applications. But for Soda, for me, what I had to do to stand out was just show how I would act because I'm in theater. I would just express myself through the script they gave me. And mostly on my applications, I would like put everything that would help that I did to help West Portal because West Portal was important to me since I've been there for so long. And I'm really grateful for my mom for helping me through my application process, because if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be able to do it, if I'm being honest.
It's really nice. Um, you spoke about being given a script, and you did theater. Can you share about? I understand that Soda's pretty different than other schools. You have to be pretty talented to make it into Soda in terms of of the arts. So can you elaborate on what is really unique about the application process for SOTA? And then I'm going to ask Karen to strike on what was unique about Raritan's application process versus other schools. Chloe?
So, what was unique about the SOTA's application process was basically you had to put SOTA as your first choice, and then you would have to go on a certain day where you would audition for what you chose. Like for theater, I had to sing, dance, and act. So that would show like if I had enough potential for that. And then for the other departments, they had to show their skills in that thing they auditioned for. Like there's technical theater, architecture and design, dance, world music, and a bunch of other stuff. And it also goes by grades too. You have to have a good grades to get into.
Wow. So was it like you're on American Idol trying to try out for American Idol?
Just about.
Did they have a signing calendar? I mean, what was it? A whole panel of teachers? Was it students? What was that audition like?
So for me, I had to go in front of 4 people. It was the 4 heads of the theater. And it was an individual audition. You didn't have to do it in front of other people. It was just those heads while the other people waited outside of a certain room I was in to audition. And it was honestly it was fun for me because I thought it was fun. And they just like ask you questions like, oh, why did you choose this script? And I just answered that. And that was basically it.
That's really neat. So I'm just imagining this. There's just a line of students waiting to audition.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Karen, how about Raritan? What was unique about the application process for Raritan?
It was pretty similar to the ones, I think. There were also like interviews asked about your extracurriculars and your grades. But one thing that's really unique, I think, is to get into band. If you want to do concert band, you'd have to do like an interview with our band director and like perform like a piece or something like that. But since I didn't have any experience with marching instruments, I did the online interview, which was like showing your music experience. So I performed a little bit of the piano, and that was really cool to see how there was also like an interview for band.
So can you describe what the atmosphere was like when you did that? Was it a bunch of teachers? Was it other students?
Mine was online since I didn't have any experience in marching band. So it was like through a Google form. So I like recorded a piece at home.
Oh, I see. It wasn't a live virtual thing. It was, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Neat. Just a reminder to the students and parents, if you have any questions that you want me to ask, feel free to put them in the comment field and join the chat. Otherwise, fingers crossed, I have a whole bunch of questions that hopefully this will go through all of yours. So let's ask the next question to Karen first. What are some resources that you would recommend would be helpful during the application process? I mean, I can just imagine there's so many schools out there, public, private. I don't know where to start. Where should our 8th graders start?
So what I did was I put all the questions into a Google Doc, and then like I took time every day to type on it, and just at the end when I felt like I was done, I checked the word count, which was really helpful for me because there was like a word limit. So I made sure that was correct, and then I kind of finalized it after using the word count. So yeah, really organize yourself with Google Docs, or if you prefer on paper, you could do paper. Write down what you need to complete and make sure to take time every day to do it, because you don't want to turn in anything like late or like be behind on anything. That would like put yourself in a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Were all of your applications submitted online, or do they allow you to download the physical hard copy application now and fill it out?
They were online.
They're online. Wow. Okay. So if a seventh grader wanted to get a sneak peek at the application for next year, would they have to commence an application, or what is that like?
I'm actually not sure. I believe they update the application every year, so it'd be only to those in 8th grade, I believe.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Chloe? What were some of the resources that you would recommend would be helpful for somebody going through the application process?
I think just really researching how your applications would go, because for me, I'm now a part of the SFUSD not program, SFUSD school districts. Because I'm in a public school now, I'm transitioning from a private to a public. And I also think a good mindset would really help, because you want to know what you're going to do in the future and how you're going to be in high school. And I also feel like being more confident with yourself, because public because for high school you kind of have to be a little bit more confident. You can't be closed together, or else you'll be kind of quiet, I feel like. Because for me, when I started high school, I was actually really scared, because I didn't know if I was going to make any friends. But then I started feeling more confident in myself, because everybody is not going to judge you. We're all art students. You can't be really judged much. And that's when I found my best friend now, because she's honestly so amazing. And I just really feel like you really need to have enough confidence in yourself to be able to talk to others and be comfortable with them.
Wow. That's really neat. I mean, high school is certainly a great time to start blossoming and coming out of your shell. I'm proud of you for doing that. We have a couple questions from our audience. How many students are at SOTA?
So Soda is actually a small school, I would say. I'd say about 800, 700 to 820 students, just about.
Total.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How many students are at Reardon, Karen?
I believe the same, approximately. Yeah,
Okay.
like 800, 900.
Okay. I remember I happened to meet the director of admissions for Sacred Heart Cathedral, and he told me that they had over 1,200 applicants for only 300 spots for their freshman class. I thought that was amazing. What were some of the questions that they ask on these applications? Karen?
It was more like the extracurricular activities, what I enjoyed doing, and why I chose to go to Reading.
Okay. They also ask you to rank your school preference. One of you guys mentioned, I think it was you, Chloe, that you had to put that SOTA was your first choice school.
Yeah.
Is that pretty common for these applications?
Sorry.
Is it pretty common for all the high school applications to ask you to tell them what your first choice school is?
I only know Soda asked me because I put Lincoln and Lowell as my second and third choice.
Okay.
So yeah.
Did Reardon ask that, Karen?
I don't think so, but when I applied to Lowell, they asked me to rank the top 3, and I put Lowell, Lincoln, and Washington.
Okay. This one's going to go to Chloe first. What advice would you give to parents to best support their children during the application process?
I'd say the best advice for parents would be, don't stress about it. It's not as stressful as you think it is. You just have to make sure your child is keeping up with their grades and knowing what to do for their applications, because it's on the child or on the student that if they can't keep up with their applications too, it's also on the student, because given instructions from schools, they will be telling you what to do. And parents can also support the child more. And because for me, my mom really didn't pressure me into getting whatever school. She just wanted me to make sure I got into soda because she thought it really fit me best. And I'd say let them choose their schools too, because I feel like West Portal students are smart enough to know which schools they want to go to. And yeah, I just mostly say just don't really stress about it. It's not as stressful as you would think it is.
That's a good reminder for all the parents out there, including me. How about you, Karen? What advice would you give to parents to best support their children during the application process?
I really agree with Chloe how the parents should support their students and really let your child decide what schools you want to apply to, because it's the student that's going to high school, not the parent. And yeah, really be supportive to them and don't pressure them into applying to a school just because, oh, like a lot of people are, it's a popular school, because like this child, if they end up going there, they may not actually like it.
Okay. So, did most of your guys' friends, they got to basically pick soda and Reardon to go to? Is that what I'm hearing as well?
Most of them did get to choose. I know one of my friends didn't really get to choose where he wanted to go to because his dad wanted him to get into like one of the top educational schools for him.
I see. Okay. Did you need to write essays? And if so, what were the essay themes? Chloe?
I did not have to write any essays, but I think I did have to write I think a memoir for Reardon when I was applying there. And that and the theme was like what changed, like what led me to be here in this moment.
Huh. Okay. Karen?
Yes, I think
For your other schools that you applied to as well. You remember the essay themes?
for Lowell, I think it was the hardship and how I overcame the hardship. But each school is different and creative with their essay themes. So I think just speak from your heart when you do it.
Okay. How did you manage your time throughout? I mean, I think high school applications are already out. Like some of them, they were available end of August. Do you remember? Did you start as soon as they were available, and you just kept refining essays or double checking your applications? Are we talking about a month solid of application work, or what do you guys recall it being like? Start with Chloe.
Um, I okay. Every day after school, I would always work on my application because I needed to, and I just thought I should get that done before my schoolwork because it's high school. But for the soda application, all I had to do was just practice my lines and make sure my grades are up, which worked, and I'm here now. Um, for the other schools, for private school, I had to make sure I knew what I was doing on the HSPT for private schools, and for Lowell, I had to know my work on the test. And I think that was about it. I didn't really like have to do too much on my applications due to the fact that I applied to mostly public schools.
Okay. How about you, Karen?
I think just make sure to put in time every day to do your applications. And it wasn't really that hard if you just focus on finishing one task. And then once you're done, because once you're done, you'd be done and you just have to like revise. But for reading, I believe there was a video also in the application.
How long is that video? And what do you have to do for that video?
I don't really remember, but I think it was just like a few minutes, like 2 minutes. Just Yeah. And talking about, I think it was what do you think you could contribute to reading and like what you do there?
Okay. Moving on to the open houses, we'll ask Chloe first. Were there specific things that you looked for or specific questions that you asked during the open house visits to gain better insight into the schools?
I mostly asked like how the homework load was there because for me, I do a lot of after school activities, and they told me it's not as much homework, and it's true. I actually don't really have that much homework, and they really try to ease you into being in high school as a freshman, and I felt really glad about that because my schedule is really hectic, and I felt like having that like a little bit small amount of homework is like was good for me. Um, but yeah, that was really it for me.
And speaking of homework, somebody asked in the chat, is it hard to manage homework and extracurriculars? It sounds like for you at SOTA, it is very manageable then. Karen, how about you? What are some specific things that you look for or questions that you ask during the open house visits to gain insight into the school?
I like to ask the students like what made that school unique? Why did you choose that school? Like if you had a second choice, would you choose that school again? Like why did you choose that school when you were in 8th grade?
Okay. What valuable insights did you gain about the application process that you wish you had known earlier? Or alternatively, looking back, what advice would you give to our 8th graders who are preparing to go through the high school application process now? Let's start with Chloe.
I feel like what I gained after all my applications was try not to stress about it because for me, I was really stressed out because I didn't know if I was going to get into SOTA or not because I was scared, like, if I get rejected by SOTA, then what school would I go to? Advice I would give to someone who is preparing to go through high school process will also be like, try to stay calm. And if you're getting interviewed by the head at the school or some type of principal, make sure to like really like elaborate more on what you're answering their questions to, and just not really stress about it because I felt like if I didn't have stressed too much, it would have been more chill for me.
Did you go through and practice with anybody before? Karen, anything to add?
For me, when I practiced, I like talk to myself in the mirror, try to prepare myself, and reminded myself that to take a deep breath, don't like rush to answer the questions in your interview. Like because it shows your interviewer that you're actually taking time to like think about the question before answering it and just not like speaking whatever. Yeah.
Okay. We have another question from the audience. What clubs have you joined, and what are your extracurricular activities? Karen?
Okay.
You
So
already touched base on some of them, but I'm sure.
yeah. For clubs, I joined robotics, and then I'm in cross country now for sports, and the marching band for another extracurricular activity, which I really enjoy and made a lot of good friends from it.
How do you do all those things and do your homework and study for quizzes and tests?
So I really like how Rudin has the block schedule where there's only 4 classes per semester, and being in band, that class, it gives me a free block every other day to do like homework and like catch up on stuff. Yeah.
There are only 4 classes per semester. I didn't know that ever.
Yeah.
So what 4 classes are you in? Like there's math, what, English?
Currently, I'm in the religion class, the band, the modern geometry honors, and the global ethnic studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Chloe? At SOTA, how many classes do you guys have for each?
So in the beginning of the school, every day you only have 3 classes, and then you get lunch, and then after lunch you would do what your art block, which is what you auditioned for.
I see. Can I switch? If I went to SOTA and if I was in theater, can I switch to band or am I locked in?
Yeah, you were able to switch your departments
Okay.
after I'd say about a semester or maybe a year.
Okay. What were some specific challenges that you encountered during the application process, and how did you overcome them? And this could be anything. It could be I don't have access to my printer. I need to print something out. It could be I need somebody to watch me to go through a mock interview. Any challenges whatsoever, because obviously nothing's perfect. Karen?
I tried not to be negative and believed in myself that I would get into the schools that were the best fit for me. And I really appreciate my parents who were really supportive and gave me hugs, told me to slow down, calm myself down, and that I will make it there.
Okay. Anything to add, Chloe? Chloe, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, for me, the only challenge I had was really memorizing everything I was auditioning for, because for me, theater is also all about memorization and having to really flow through how you're gonna say stuff through that script and your song and your dancing. And that's also me, because I was also a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure if I was gonna do it right or if I was gonna mess up, and I just had all these thoughts in my head and I started to overthink about everything. So I just felt like I really should have been able to calm myself down before the audition, but I feel like I did pretty good at the audition, and now I'm in high school.
Awesome. Speaking of interviews and sort of them getting to know you better, I really want to do a deep dive into how both of you guys prepared for your high school interviews. I mean, was it every weekend? Were you practicing with different people? Um, and think about this one. I don't know if you can remember, but what was the most unique or toughest question that you were asked? This could be from any of the schools that you interviewed for. And last, what specific questions did you encounter during an interview that you found particularly insightful or challenging? So I'm going to repeat this. This is a pretty loaded question. How did you prepare for your high school interviews? What was the most unique or toughest question that you were asked? In other words, what specific questions did you encounter during an interview that you found particularly insightful or challenging? I think that out of all the questions that we're asking tonight, this is a really important question because our 8th graders are listening in, and I'm sure that they're taking notes while their parents are giving them some space and not stressing out. So any insights that you guys can share on these really tough interview questions? We'll start with Karen.
Like I mentioned earlier, I put some thought into it before answering the questions and try to calm myself down, took deep breaths, and like really believe in yourself. Each one of us are unique. And the toughest question that I was asked, I'm not really sure I remember, but yeah.
It's okay. We can come back to you.
Yeah.
If you think about it, just let us know. How about you, Chloe?
The way I prepared for my interviews was really just like thinking like, oh, I have to be myself and answer these questions that I would answer as in normal, like not just being all fancy with my words, because if I'm being honest, I don't have a good vocabulary. Um, so one of the most like unique questions that I actually got was why I chose that school. And my answer to those questions was I felt like it fit best for me. I felt comfortable there or just from the tour, and the people there really felt like I was gonna be okay there. And I thought the education at my school was pretty good too.
Okay. What were some questions that you asked your interviewers? I'm sure that they asked you if you had any questions. Chloe?
Questions I asked them was because I was still kind of unsure how people were there, and I asked like, "Oh, are the students there like happy that they chose this school, or were they able to graduate and get into the school of their choice?" And they told me that the students there are happy. I do see that. A lot of them seem to really enjoy going to school, if I'm being honest. And they also said that a lot of them were mostly able to graduate to the school of their choices.
Okay. That's excellent. Karen?
Um, for a question I remember now, the question that an interviewer asked was kind of hard for me, was like how I could contribute to Reardon, and like a question that I asked my interviewer was how did students manage their time? Was it hard? Was there a lot of homework since there's only 4 classes? And how did they prepare for tests? And like why did they choose to go to school?
Those are great questions. Did you both become very familiar with the various high schools' mission and vision statements going into those interviews? Was that something that was important for you guys to be familiar about? Chloe?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Did you feel a need to familiarize yourself with the school's core values, their mission and vision statement, and sort of commit those to memory at all before you interviewed with them?
I don't really think so, but I did feel like I would help with the school a lot because, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Karen?
Um, Not really sure.
I'm going to take that as a no, and you were just being yourself. And actually, it reminds me, I have a nephew who he applied for a job with Amazon to be one of their software engineers. And he had no idea what Amazon's core values were. And he went in, he interviewed, he was just himself, and they offered him a job. So, I mean, you guys obviously got into your schools for a reason. It's because you're a good fit. There's a really good question that came up in the chat. What do you think West Portal Lutheran could have done even better to help you with the high school application process? I know that Principal Lee is super good at, just providing resources and preparing you guys. But if there's something that you guys wish could have been a little bit better or a lot better, what would it be? We'll start with Chloe.
If I'm being honest, I think West Portal really helped like provide me enough to get into the school of my choice. Like, and one of those things I feel like was being more social because I was able to be friends with everybody and kind of talk to them. And I think what really helped me was tutoring some of the West Portal students there. That really helped me a lot. I got to know a lot of people like from certain grades, and I felt like that was what really helped. And I feel like West Portal just really helped me throughout applications. I don't think there was anything that needed to be fixed.
Okay, great. Karen, what do you think WPO could have done better to help you with the high school application process?
I agree with Chloe that how WPL, like, they really gave us time, and I also participated in the tutoring program, so I got to meet like younger students, and like talking to them helps me like prepare myself for interviews because I like became more social as a person and got more used to talking to strangers instead of just talking to my friends.
That's really good. Good to hear. So I've heard, rumor has it, that certain high schools like it when their applicants are very familiar with their school and that they've invested in their school in terms of events, whether it's some type of social event or a theater production or summer school. SI, Sacred Heart, they're very popular for their summer school programs. Is there anything that SOTA or Reardon that they have for our middle schoolers to go to get to know the school better? If they wanted to attend, I don't know if there's a SOTA summer school for middle schoolers or a Reardon middle school summer school program or a winter fair. Can you shed some light on how our students can just kind of get engaged so that when they apply, they can say, yeah, I went to this, and this. Chloe?
So there was a summer camp at my school before I went there, but I was not able to go due to some other stuff during the summer. And they also had open houses for students to like future students to go to see how um, everything is, see how the people were. And the tour I took at my school also helped because I got to see how the school looks like inside, all the classrooms, everything. And I feel like that's really what really helped. And also in the beginning of the school, on the first day, there was like a booth where people would help you find where you're going. And the people I talked to that helped me just, I felt were really like, just really helped me too because everybody was just so nice there. And I really liked that.
Okay. That's neat. How about you, Karen?
I don't think that high schools really like if they're like are looking for if their applications are really familiar, but I think it's an important factor to have. But I didn't go to the summer programs that Reardon offered, but I believe during open house there was like clubs would come out and like ask if you were interested, and then and then for robotics, one of my friends told me that there were like a summer kind of program thing where you could go in over the summer and like learn more about the club. And Reardon has like summer schools like for each subject. There was like math, English, and other things like that. But I wasn't super familiar with like where all the classrooms were. So when my first year of school or my first weeks, I was kind of lost where the classrooms were. So I just walked up to like another person I saw around, and they were really friendly, and they led me to where my classroom was. So I really liked how Reardon's community is. Yeah, everyone's super friendly.
That's really neat. I remember when I was a freshman, I went to public school here in San Francisco. I went to Lowell High School. I told myself, I am going to meet somebody new every day of my freshman year. And it was really neat. I just called to people, hi, what's your name? And before I knew it, I knew a ton of people. So you're talking about something that you liked about Reardon and the other students, how friendly they're. And this was a question asked by one of the audience members. What are 3 things that you like best about your high school? And 3 things about your high school that you wish were different, that you would like to change? I'm going to repeat the question and then ask Chloe to respond first. What are 3 things that you like best about your high school? And 3 things about your high school that you wish that could be changed. Chloe?
Three things that I really like about my high school right now are the people, my classes, and my art block, and also the clubs there that I got into. And the three things about my school that I would like to change would probably be like, I'd say more sports. If I'm being honest, I don't think there's really much I would change about my school because I actually really love it there and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. How about you, Karen?
Um, my favorite things about reading are the block schedule, which um, helps us with having good time management, which is really important. I also really enjoy the band and the people there, and things that I like to change would be maybe adding more languages, sports, and water fountains like outside of the classrooms.
Okay, that's fair enough. Um, I think we covered this, but I'm going to ask it again. Can you share any tips for managing time and deadlines effectively while applying to multiple schools? Chloe?
Um, I'd say um, mostly just like make sure to like work on your applications like for all the high schools you're applying to because it really helps to know that the high schools know that you're really like on everything and make sure I wouldn't say get it done early, but make sure it's on time too. And if you're like applying to multiple schools, it'll kind of be hard to know which ones are for which, but because like I know private school applications are more individual and public schools is mostly all together because it's part of SFUSD and that's all I could say.
How about you, Karen?
One thing that really worked for me was getting a planner and writing down, oh, this is what I should go over today. Like, oh, I should like adjust this paragraph and the next day, maybe another paragraph. So really write it down, like what you need to do, maybe create a checklist if that works for you. See what really helps you.
Okay. Chloe mentioned earlier just about all the different arts programs for SOTA, and you mentioned how Reardon has an architecture program and so forth. I'm going to do a little spin-off of a question that one of the audience members had, and it's the students at Reardon. Is there something that they're really focused and interested in mainly, or is it architecture, is it engineering, is it nothing? Is it sports? What do you observe as far as your peers over there?
At Reardon, I think for every high school, there's definitely going to be kids or students that aren't as focused at others, but I like how Reardon allowed like us to choose our classes. So really choosing classes like for the robotics club, everyone there is like really engaged, really wants to learn, and I've really learned a lot about it. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. Um, and are there any aspects of the overall application process or interview process or audition process that you recommend to our eighth graders that they should focus on more than others based on your experience? Should they be focusing more on the interview? Should they be focusing on dotting their I's, crossing their T's on the application? What are your thoughts, Chloe?
I'd say really like I remember focusing on your grades because you do still really need that for all the high schools you're applying to, whether it's an art school, because my school said that specifically you have to have good grades or else you won't really be able to get in. Another thing I would say to focus on is having good time management too, would also be really good because most of the teachers would always love to have everything done on time or early because if you would do that, I would say you would probably do really great in high school mostly, and that's really all I have to say.
Neat. How about you, Karen?
I think I focus more on like the applications and less of the HSBT because there's faculty and staff there that told us that it's just like one day of the test. What we're really looking for is how you are as a person and not just one day, like what your grade was for that one morning.
Yeah. Excellent advice. I think that pretty much wraps up all of our questions. I know that I threw a lot at you too, and I really appreciate it. Some takeaways for me, Chloe, Karen, you can tell me if I missed anything. It seems like really just be yourself in your application, your interview. It'll come shining through. Parents, don't stress and let your child pick their own school. I heard that multiple times. Practice, whether it's your interviews or your auditions. And there seems to be no one school fits all. Did I get that right, Chloe, Karen? Did I miss anything? Feel free to let me know if I did. No?
You didn't miss anything.
No.
Okay. Well, we plan on having another virtual panel focused specifically on the high school experience. Last year we did this with almost a dozen West Portal Lutheran graduates that were anywhere from freshmen to juniors at their high schools. And we split it up into 2 virtual events. I sincerely hope that Chloe and Karen will be able to carve out time to join us for that. I know that all the students and parents would love to see you guys again. And congratulations to both of you, Chloe and Karen, for getting into the top schools of your choice. That's just remarkable. And it is so nice to see fellow West Portal Lutheran alumni giving back to the WPL community. And we all appreciate your time. So thank you again, Chloe and Karen, for participating in this virtual panel discussion and sharing your valuable insights and experiences with our middle schoolers. I hope that everyone has found this discussion to be informative and helpful. And to our 8th graders, I wish you all the best with your high school application process. And remember, enjoy your final year at West Portal Lutheran. Have a great evening, everyone.